Malaysia's transport infrastructure play a vital role in national development from highway and railway to rural connectivity. But how well public money managed? This documentary explores accountability, integrity, and transparency in infrastructure budget allocations.
Malaysia economy and connectivity rely a lot on a good transport systems. Every year, the government spends billions of ringgit on roads, railways, and public transport. However, issues like money, management project delays, and unclear use of funds often worry the public. Because of this, it is very important to make sure the transport budget is managed honestly, responsibly, and transparently so that public trust can be improved. Malaysia transport budget mainly supports roads, rail, and public transport. In budget 2025, 10.35 billion ringgit was given to the Ministry of Works for roads, while 750 million ringgit went to the Ministry of Transport, mostly for public transport subsidies like the My 50 Pass. Big projects such as ECRL, MRT, and LRT also continue to receive funding.
Under the budget 2036, the Malaysian government allocated RM710 million for infrastructure development in Johor with a focus on transportation. This allocated is under the fund major road upgrade, improve traffic flow and new development link transport to enhance connectivity within the state. The investment aims to support economic growth, improve mobility for residents and strengthens Johor's role as a key transportation and logistic hub.
Being transparent means you have nothing to hide. It's a basis of good governance, one of the elements of good governance. So whenever allocation is done, everyone, all stakeholders, particularly the people, the government, or anyone who has interest or stake in transport, that means everyone actually, businesses. We need transport for business. It's very important. One of the basis of good transport is also important because it will help improve condition of living for people. So since it's so important, it's important that it's being transparent because everyone needs it. So it also will, like something that we don't want, like corruption and misuse of funds, so that it tend to prevent it because of transparency. Okay, so that's why transparency is so important. Okay, there are many implications. One of them in terms of trust of the people, not only the people but all stakeholders to the government, because normally it will weaken people's trust on the government. Because if you're not transparent, people will be suspicious and will erode people's trust in the government. Secondly, lack of transparency will actually make it easier trying to misuse power, trying to take advantage of the process to gain some kind of profit. So it will be easier for them.
Accountability in the public sector context includes the obligations of government officials and agencies to be answerable for how they use public funds, to demonstrate performance openly and to justify decisions to citizens and oversight bodies. In Malaysia, accountability is linked to the integrity of public sector officers and reinforced by risk management and management commitment mechanisms that ensure officials perform their duties properly. Why accountability is a crucial part in transportation? Because accountability is essential in transportation because the sector handles large, long-term public investments that directly affect safety, mobility, and economic growth. When agencies are answerable for how funds are spent, they must disclose expenditures, justify decisions, and allow external audit, which reduce the risk of cost overruns, corruptions, and misallocations of resources.
In Malaysia budget 2026, the government strongly emphasizes on transport, road, and rural infrastructure development. A total of 13 billion ringgit is allocated to upgrade and expand the federal and state road, with 2.5 billion ringgit specifically for federal and 5.6 billion ringgit to the state for road maintenance. At the same time, 3.3 billion ringgit is dedicated to rural infrastructure, including village roads, water supply, electricity, and basic facilities. In budget 2026, infrastructure funding is strengthened by combining 81 billion ringgit in development spending with public-private partnership and GLC investment, with a total development funding to 131 billion ringgit. Infrastructure spending in budget 2026 is aligned with national planning framework, including the 30th Malaysian Plan to support connectivity, inclusive growth, and long-term sustainability.
What is integrity? Integrity is often defined as doing the right things even when no one is watching. But in the context of public finance, it is much more than a moral virtue. It is a structural necessity. It means managing a public fund with transparency, ensuring every ringgit spent serves the rakyat and not the private pockets. Why does this matter? Because without integrity, public finance bleeds. Integrity plays a vital role as the gatekeeper of our economy. It prevents the leakage of funds and ensures that government allocation for schools, hospitals, and infrastructure actually reach their targets. When integrity fails, the cost of living rises, trust in government falls, and the most vulnerable among us suffer the most. So, for the current issues or the challenge, despite our best efforts, challenge remain. The most critical area is public procurement. For example, recent data indicates that a significant portion of corruption complaints to the MACC are related to procurement sectors. We will still see cases of bid rigging in construction or leakages where supplies are paid for but never delivered. These are not just statistics, they represent stolen opportunities for national development.
However, the Malaysian government has taken concrete steps to strengthen integrity in public governance. Under the budget 2023, more than 700 million ringgit has been allocated to enhance integrity systems within key oversight bodies including the MACC and the National Audit Department. These efforts are guided by the National Anti-Corruption Strategies, which emphasize integrity, transparency, and accountability in high-risk sectors such as public procurement. In addition, the use of integrity packs in major projects enables independent monitoring to ensure fairness and ethical conduct.
Thank you, Miss, for speaking with us today.
Integrity is indeed very important because without integrity, you cannot convince the citizen to keep revoting the government and to retain the popularity of the government. So of course, whatever that the government take actions in terms of, in this case, budget allocation, integrity is a huge question. So we need to understand first what's the definition of integrity. So integrity comes with two things. Firstly, one must have the responsibility. So once they have the responsibility, then only they should be accountable to those responsibilities. So that being said, as we know, government is a huge agency, it's a huge mechanism, right? It's a huge body that is given the authority, that's given the responsibility. So therefore, of course, they are accountable. They need to answer to their questions, to their actions that they done the citizen. So when they are able to answer, that actually they're being accountable. So in order to keep the accountability in check, things that they do must be transparent. Okay, that's a very tricky question because you see, a lot of members of the public actually not in the know of how the government process or how they allocate things. What we, maybe a bit concerned about our country, they only check on how the government did the budgeting. But aside from that, how the government really fracture those budgeting, most of the public member does not know. So when they do not know, it's hard for us to really keep on be check with in terms of transparency of the budget. Luckily, in our governing system, we have a system where we know that each agencies, we can do check and balance. They have their own audit, they have their own procedure to make sure that things are in check. And even in during the budget tabling, we know that our Ministry of Finance, which is Datuk Sri Anwar, he also, when he table the budget, it's done through check and balance by the debate, the reading between the parliamentary members. So by then, yes, it actually can get like direct feedback from the member of the parliament about the accuracy of the budget, about the soundness of the budget. Yeah. So I think in a way, yeah, it could be quite transparent because we have the check and balance. However, in one side, most of the member public are not in the know. So because of that, 100% transparency cannot be achieved. We can think about one issue, for example, like fund bonus. How can we know how many percent the progress of the project, who's the contractor for the project, which contractor involved? We, the public, doesn't know because it's not being disclosed to us directly. For the fact that the policy require at least the contractors of the project to be disclosed to the public. If you notice, that's why we have the signage of the project saying which contractor, the duration of the project and all. But then, not all projects, if you notice, especially in Sabah, have that.
Oh yeah.
So, in a way, the policy is there, the recommendation and regulation is there. But in terms of implementation, in terms of regulation, still very weak.
What is transparency? Transparency is the quality of being easy to see through. In a social or professional context, it means operating in a way that is open, honest, and clear, so that nothing is hidden. When a person or an organization is transparent, they share information freely rather than keeping it behind closed doors. Is transparency important? Of course it is. This is because transparency builds trust and also safety. When you are transparent, people feel safe because they don't have to guess your intentions. For example, in Malaysia, transparency efforts are currently centered on the economy Madani framework, such as the 12th Malaysia Plan and also the Belanjawan 2035, which aim to improve the country's ranking to the top 25 in the Global Corruption Perception Index.
For the challenges, one major challenge is the limited access to clear and accurate information. Details about project, cost, progress, and timing are not always easy for the public to find. So when the information is incomplete or unclear, it becomes difficult to monitor how actually the public money is used. So this can lead to misunderstandings and also public doubt. Another challenge is the difficulty in getting interviews with the key stakeholders such as the government officers, experts, or project managers. So due to the strict procedures and also approvals, access is very limited. So the teams can struggle to present detailed explanations from official sources.
So the next challenges is technical and production issues. So Malaysia's transportation infrastructure project, they often face technical and production challenges due to the complex engineering requirements, coordination across the agency, and also skill shortage. So these technical hurdles can lead to cost overruns, construction defects, and also project delays. So for example, like poorly executed designs and also weak oversight may result in public safety issues and controversy around the project quality. The next challenges is time constraint. So for time constraint, time pressures in transportation, budget planning, and delivery frequently lead to the rush decision making and incomplete planning. So when projects are fast-tracked, there is a limited opportunity for true feasibility studies, cost assessment, and also independent audits. So this can weaken the accountability mechanism and obscure how funds are located, reducing the public trust. So the last challenge is public awareness and engagement. So a persistent challenge in the limited of public awareness and engagement in decision making around transportation infrastructure budgets. So without broad public participation in access of information, the citizens cannot effectively monitor or question how funds are spent. So this will reduce the transparency and can weaken the accountability. Study also show that institutionalizing public participation improves the project legitimacy and also helps the data of the mismanagement.
Accountability, integrity, and transparency are central safeguards for public money. When upheld, infrastructure projects benefits all Malaysians. These pillars ensures public finance achieve its true purpose, building a better, fairer, and sustainable Malaysia.
So for the conclusion, public infrastructure shapes how Malaysians live, move, and connect. Accountability, integrity, and transparency are not optional. They are essential to protecting public funds. When these principles are upheld, infrastructure projects deliver real value, trust is strengthened, and development becomes fair and sustainable. Ultimately, responsible budget allocation ensures that every ringgit spent truly serves the people and the nation's futures.